Madam Chair.
Supervisor Angus.
I just wanted to ask a question. I've been asked to ask this question. Down in, I think up here, the county building has gyms in it. Are they closed here? They're closed here.
Yes.
Down in Bullhead, I was asked about the new probation.
Yes.
Because according to the order from the city, county and federal buildings are exempt.
I believe, County Manager Ilters, would you be able to speak to that? I believe you addressed that before, about the gym in Bullhead City specifically, but throughout the county.
The gym in the new gym in the probation building in Bullhead City.
Madam Chair, Supervisor Angus, we did look at all three gyms that we have in the county and took the approach that we need to be consistent with what we expect the public to do for the public, in the public gyms, as well as knowing that all three gyms are in county facilities. So we did put out information to county employees indicating that all three were closed until further notice. We felt that it would not look good to have the gyms in county buildings open while the private gyms were not having that opportunity. So as of today, the direction is that all three are closed until further notice. I don't know if I answered your question.
Is that a decision that was made at the administration level, or is that part of when we voted for mask mandates in county buildings? Is that part of that? Who made the decision is my point.
Supervisor, the decision was based on the direction that the board took to mandate masks and such in county buildings, and knowing that we did not have the tools to go sanitize after every person who used it, the directive came from the county manager's office that all three would be closed until the board gave different direction, or until the private gyms had an opportunity to put a plan in place that allows them to open, and we would reconsider at that time.
Okay, well, I'd like to make a motion that we open up the gyms in the county facilities with the caveat that the people using it will be on an honor system to clean up after themselves, that we could provide the sanitation, but they will clean up. I don't know how many people use it. I don't think it's that many, and I think that they are responsible enough to do that. So that's my motion.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Ryan Esplin, do you have anything to add?
I have some concerns. I'd have to look again at the executive order to determine whether we could do that or not. I don't know the applicability to the county, but I think the rationale that the county manager stated, if the gyms throughout the county are closed in accordance with the executive order, we ought to follow suit. Our recommendation is to not approve this motion. Until we get more information, I would not do it at this time. And I respect the position that Supervisor Angus has, but at this time I can't recommend it.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments?
I second Supervisor Angus's motion.
Any other comments? Supervisor Watson?
In your motion, are you recommending any distancing?
I don't know what the gym looks like. Maybe we could put the equipment 6 feet apart, or we can make those accommodations, or maybe limit the amount of people who could be in it. Because again, like down in Bullhead, you're not going to have that many people. There are just few. So maybe you could say only 2 at a time. How's that sound? Even 1 at a time. I think they'd be happy with anything. That's a good idea.
I think, if we limit the number of people using it and they clean it after they're gone,
Right.
I've got no problem with that.
Okay, so 1 or 2. What do you think?
I'll go for 2.
Okay, so I'm going to amend my motion to opening up the gyms in the county buildings and limiting to 2 people at a time, and make sure that they sanitize the equipment when they leave.
Supervisor Angus, you said 2 people at a time. I'm assuming you mean employees?
These are our gym is only open to employees.
Okay, just wanted to clarify that.
Madam Chair, Supervisor Angus, it is open to employees and spouses?
Okay, so it's same thing, 2 at a time. That's all. Yeah, it's not open to the general public.
And Chairman Bishop, if I could just add to this, I have concerns. Our recommendation is to follow the executive orders of the governor, and it is not our recommendation to go against what the governor has stated. There's a procedure in place. Now, again, admittedly, and I'm being honest, I don't know if the executive order applies to county gyms like this. I'd have to look. But even if it did not, we still do not recommend that you take this action.
I heard you the first time, and I'm going along with my motion.
Okay,
And I second Supervisor Angus's motion again.
okay, thank you, Supervisor Gold. Mr. Esplin, could there be any legal ramifications if this motion is passed?
It will depend on whether it violates the executive order. Anytime you're disobeying a legal order, there can be consequences. I don't know. I'd have to look at the executive order to determine the applicability to a gym in a county building. I don't know that answer.
Okay.
If this was a private business, it'd be a different story. It's clearly you have to follow the executive orders. But here, I'd have to determine whether it applies to a county gym in a county building. If it does, yeah, there could be consequences. If it does not apply, then you're correct. It would not.
Is our
Researched and more clarification by the next COVID meeting?
I can do that, certainly.
Okay.
the executive order is to businesses. It's a business, the gyms, bars, and restaurants. This is not a business. It's a room with some equipment in it.
I have to look to see what the executive
Well,
order says. I
okay.
don't have it in
Well,
front
you
of
can
me.
look, but let's, I made the motion and I want to continue with it.
Okay. Is there any further discussion? We have a motion on the floor. It has been seconded by Supervisor Gold. Okay, let's do a roll call on this one.
Supervisor Watson,
Yes.
Supervisor Angus,
Yes.
Supervisor Johnson,
No.
Supervisor Gould,
Yes.
Chairman Bishop,
No.
motion carries.
Okay.